All right, so it stopped raining and I don't think it's gonna rain more. So I've got the engine pushed outside. I'm gonna take it off of the stand. I did some prep work already. I have already disconnected the fuel and all electrical, whoops, except for this oil pressure wire. I've already taken off the exhaust headers, taken the battery off, taken all the wires off, getting ready to take the engine off the stand. I thought I'd give a rundown of what I thought of the stand. The stand was bought from Summit Racing Equipment, which conveniently is like an hour and a half or less drive for me. The stand came with just the black structure, the tubular steel, the square tube steel frame, the black tray for putting your fuel tank on, the brackets to hold a radiator, nothing else really. So what did I think of it? So I mounted some additional things to it. There was a single hole for an ignition switch, I think. I drilled a couple of extra holes for a few extra switches. I bought a gauge pack. These 3 gauges here were from a single pack. Bought our small tachometer. Bought a radiator. Pretty much the I won't say the cheapest one they had, but close. A radiator shroud that wasn't quite right, and I had to cut it up a little to make it work. A fan. What else did I buy? Oh, well, I didn't buy. I just had some extra scrap material lying around that I used for plates to mount things to. So I mounted my 6AL, my ignition box. I mounted the fuel pump that I'm going to end up not using. I already showed you the electrical stuff that I mounted underneath this tray. All right, so that's pretty much what I did. I added some grounding straps just to be sure. I hate ground problems, right? So I did things like create ground straps between the different braces. So everything was electrically connected. Let's see, I already took the starter off because I'm gonna have to take that bell housing off when I get the motor off. So the stand, here's the one thing that I didn't love about this thing. These uprights that actually hold the engine up, right? So there's a single bolt that goes through here. So it's got a degree of freedom. It'll bend this way, in and out. There's nothing stopping it other than the engine mount. I didn't really think about it beforehand. I wish I would have bought solid engine mounts. If you do use a stand like this, use solid engine mounts. So, this is not a solid engine mount. There's a rubberized connection between the plate that has the bolt for the engine mount and the plate that has the bolts for the engine. It's connected elastically with a rubber thing here. So on the other side, as the engine was running, this engine mount started coming apart. So that is why I've got this ingenious, right, strap, ratchet strap connecting these two. I got them squeezed together so that trying to prevent this thing from coming apart because of the allowed degrees of freedom on this upright here. So yeah, this engine test stand was pretty freaking awesome. It allowed me to run, break in the motor, do some tuning. It was pretty good. Oh, hey, the other thing I didn't like, my cherry picker. I don't know, I'm not the Hulk. I got to use a cherry picker to get this thing up on the test stand. Well, my cherry picker, the legs didn't fit underneath the base here of the frame. So I just made some standoffs using a couple of nuts and a longer bolt and whatnot. So every wheel has that same standoff. Every wheel, you know, I did the same thing on, and it's just enough. My cherry picker's legs fit under there now. I guess that is one thing I wish was a little different. I wish I didn't have to do all that, because of course I put it together and found out after the fact, right? Which means I had to take it apart, come up with a fix, and make it so the cherry picker would fit. So there's that. Anyway, next step, I'm gonna take the coolant out, not coolant, water. I'm gonna drain the coolant out, and then I'm gonna get that cherry picker out and start taking this off, and then I'm gonna put it on, oh, what have I got? I got like, I don't know what it's called. I'll show you when I get them out. I'm gonna put that on it, the engine on the ski rails or whatever they're called, and then I'm gonna start doing the work on the back of the block. Obviously it's already got the flywheel on there because I was using the starter to, you know, start the engine. Whew! Heart just sank. I thought that was fluid. It's not. Just the cover plate for the starter motor has an air gap, and I could see light, and I thought it was reflection, but it's not a reflection. It's just light coming through there. All right. Anyway, time to get this thing off.